Hey, MOMnation. Welcome to our From the Heart podcast, where we share inspirational stories, useful information, and we discuss a wide variety of women-related topics. While you're listening to this episode on your favorite podcast platform, please subscribe to our channel and rate us so that we can get this information out to the moms that need to hear it. If you'd like to join the conversation, we are at MOMnation USA. That's our handle on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From the Heart, where we talk with inspirational women that have risen from the ashes, that have gone against adversity and really have made something out of themselves. Or maybe they just had this idea that was put in their head by somebody else that made them think that they couldn't do it. These are the women that we speak with here on the show. And this guest, I like get the chills all over, Heather, because I am so excited to talk with you because I know that the message that you have and your story is going to ring in so many ears out there for our followers. I see so many posts about this particular topic that I know you will bring the answer to. So thank you for being with us. I know that time is precious, and I am oh so grateful that you have chosen to spend a little bit of time with us today.
Oh, no, thank you. And thank you so much for the platform to share these messages. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Well, let's dive right into it, Heather. Tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? What do you do?
Perfect. So my name is Heather Lackey. I am living in Gilbert, Arizona currently. Fun fact about me was military family. I was born overseas in Germany, but I have planted roots here in Arizona. Been here for nearly 12 years now. I have a beautiful daughter who will be 12 this year. And we have a cute little golden doodle puppy. Her name is Molly. So we have our little bachelorette pad here. I am a single mom, just me and my two girls, my daughter and my dog. But I work in the social media sector. My, path getting here was a very windy path, very indirect. And it's not what I went to school for by any means, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm excited to circle back to that in a little bit and share that piece of the puzzle with you guys. But yeah, I'm just regular mom, worked my way to where I am and spend time with my family. And that's it.
I love it. And I love that you have a golden doodle. I actually just got a schnauzer poo.
Oh my gosh. I love all dogs. I always said if I won the lottery, I would start an animal sanctuary and take them in, be like a no-kill shelter, but have acres for them to roam and not those cement chained in fence kennels, and it's a big passion of mine is animals.
Yeah, same here. I know. And that is a whole other story for a whole other show because I would partner with you in that. I love dogs too. I think they are phenomenal.
I would love that. Let's do it. That's a huge goal of mine, major goal.
All right, I'm in. You heard it here, folks.
From the heart, animal sanctuary.
Yes, coming to lots of acreage near you. So let's jump right into it. So the post that you and I kind of connected on, it was a post that was in MOMnation, and I was asking because this month is like credit repair acknowledgement month. That's not really the name of it, but it's escaping me right now. But basically, it's to recognize credit repair, recognize how important credit is. And then I started thinking about all of the moms out there that I personally know, or the posts that I see over and over again, where they're feeling really defeated. They're feeling financially stressed. They cannot get out from underneath that financial stress. And they're seeing other people that are doing it. And they're seeing other people that are, either starting businesses that align with their passion, or they have, something that they're doing that is relieving them of that financial stress that so many of us are feeling these days. And that's the post that we kind of came together on. And you mentioned that you have a story.
I do. I have the perfect story for exactly what you posted. And hearing stories like this is what helped me get to where I'm at. You having platforms like this, hearing other people's stories. And so I thought when I saw that post, I really, really deeply resonate with it. And I thought maybe if my story can impact even one person, that would be beneficial. So I'm so glad we connected over it because it's so passionate, a passionate point of mine that I'm just love. So yeah, I went to school for teaching and I started out, college degree like everybody else had. Went down the education route. I actually ended up getting 2 from ASU, and I was super proud of that. I'm like, here we go. I'm entering the world as like a member of society. I'm a young, hardworking professional. I'm gonna be a teacher. And I was making $32K a year, which I'm fine with sharing the numbers. And each year it would barely advance. And I started feeling that pressure, financially strapped all the time. And as we've all seen over the years, cost of living is going up and, your income and salary isn't always matching that. And I started to feel that pressure. First year was okay. I wasn't teaching for the fortune and fame, of course, but I was like, oh, this is a little risky. And then it was just getting worse and worse. And I knew I had to make a change, but I was stuck in that societal norm of, well, I had to go to college. I had to get my degree. This is what I should be doing. And I felt, when I looked back on it, I didn't realize I was feeling this way in the moment, but I was feeling stuck or forced, like, well, this is what you went to school for. This is your degree. You got to figure it out. You got to make it work.
Yep.
And I had this defining moment one day, and I can circle back to that in a minute, but I had this defining moment one day where I was like, I can't live like this anymore. I was teaching going into my 6th year and I wasn't even making 40K yet. And cost of living was going up all the time. And I was getting discouraged. And like you said, extremely defeated because I couldn't put any money away for savings. I was literally paycheck to paycheck, penny to penny, budgeting every dime. And I was living within my means, but it was just defeating. I couldn't do vacations. I could barely afford to do anything extra, like maybe get my nails done or take my daughter to get her nails done, something that, a woman might want to do, or get your hair done, whatever.
Well, right.
And finally, I was like,
and sorry to interrupt you, but you also now have this student loan looming above your head. So that doesn't help matters.
Yes, definitely. I'm still paying that off to this day. It's been crazy, but yes, still have student loans. And then back whenever you're going through the ASU teaching program, they don't want you to work your senior year. So I had extra loans because I took out cost of living loans so that I could go to school full time and student teach in their residency program. So I had this like 5th year of like more money that I owe back, and it's something that I'm super passionate about now too, is we've all grown up in this, again, societal norm of you have to go to college. And obviously I'm a big advocate for education. And so I don't diss college by any means, but we're just starting to see a shift now that you don't have to do that. Or maybe you did go to college and you have your degree, but you don't have to stick with that. You can, and that's part of my message is it's okay to make that change. It's scary, huge risk, but it's okay to do it. And it's okay to do it if your family needs it or you need it for yourself. And I was so terrified to do that. And, I grew up with my parents, college educated professionals. And I watched, my dad work multiple jobs and he was an engineer and all this. And that was kind of my definition of success as well. And I think a lot of people could resonate with that. A lot of successful people in our lives growing up, maybe like in that kind of millennial age group, most of our parents were like college educated. And that was our example in our lives. And all the other educated people were people who went to college. And I started to see that you don't have to do that. And I think when I finally kind of broke that tunnel vision I had regarding that, I was able to step out and be like, okay, I can do something else and I can be successful and I can do it as a mom, a single mom. And my path just, again, it was, like I said, very windy, but it got me to a great place in life right now.
That is a giant myth buster. And I just want to hang on that for a couple of minutes because we've determined, we don't have to talk numbers, but we've determined I'm a little older than you. And so when even back when I was in high school, so I graduated in the mid-90s, even back when I was in high school, that was the idea, and I don't know how, I'd like to try and think of an example for you. And I could probably think of many if I thought about it because that was a long time ago, but I'm trying to think of how that was sort of communicated to us. I feel like it was just always understood. Like, you're not going to be a valuable member to society unless you go and get this college degree. And so I felt like that. And I know that many other of my peers felt that way too. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs and not very many of them actually none of them have a college degree, now that I think about it.
See, that's fabulous.
It is. They did fantastic for themselves. So I'm here to say that you don't need a college degree to make 6-figure, 7-figure income. But I was that kid in high school that was kind of dragging my feet, getting into college, applying to college. Didn't really know what I wanted, didn't really want to, but I don't have rich parents. So I knew I was covering that cost. So I was like, well, why do I want to incur this huge balance that I'm going to have to carry like luggage through the next probably decade, which it was a decade for me to pay that off. why would I do that when I don't really know if this is, what if I just go into the family business? So our family business, we're electrical contractors. I considered that. However, this is what happened. Here's my example, Heather. The guidance counselor called me to her office. And one day, and I was a senior, and I was like, what? It was weird. The guidance counselor. I mean, I can understand the principal, but I was kind of
what's going on?
but the guidance counselor, what's this? So I go in and she's like, I was just going through everybody's records and I realized that you don't have a college associated with you yet. So sit down because we're going to start applying to colleges. What? So now I feel or felt, okay, well, I guess I've dragged my feet long enough. I guess I have to do this.
It's definitely something that happens in the educational sector. And same, I don't know when this started, how far back it goes, but same thing. We kind of have this mentality of, in order for our students to be successful, we prep them for college. And then, like you said, to get those really good jobs or more, quote, glamorous jobs, you have to have a college degree. And a lot of them do require a college degree, And so again, not dissing college because there's so many great opportunities from it. And I had a wonderful experience in college. I'm very thankful for that. And a lot of the skills I learned there have helped me with what I do today, even though it was indirect. But I used to have the same kind of vernacular when I was teaching, was thinking I have to prep these kiddos for college. And I taught everything from 3rd through 8th grade. So even like basic skills for the elementary ages to get them prepped for middle, high school, and then college. And then same thing for the kiddos who were, about to embark into their high school journey. I need to make sure I have them on the right track to be successful. But towards the end of my teaching career, I started noticing my vernacular changing around that I didn't want to be someone who made them feel like that was their only option. I have a lot of people in my life, women, for example, who have like cosmetology degrees or aesthetics, and they own salons and they're killing it. They're total boss babes. They own their own business and they're doing great, and they don't have a college degree. They did go get, a license and a certification, but not a 4-year extremely indebted program, but people who aspire to be astronauts and doctors and stuff, you have to have some degrees there. And, so it really depends on your path, but you hit on some good topics. It's kind of always been this understood concept, and, schools play into that a lot. They have college fairs. And again, the counselors, they ask you what college you want to go to, not do you want to go to college or what's your path? They kind of, that's where the lingo is, what college do you want to go to? What do you want to be? And it kind of feels that that's the only option. And not that they do it intentionally, but it has always kind of been the conversation around it. So, but we see that a lot changing now in society. A lot of people are becoming entrepreneurs and starting their own business. Like you said, stemming from a hobby, or just joining the family business, etc. And then also people who are just being creative with what they're doing, or going to a trade school and seeking other routes and opportunities than a 4-year program.
I'm seeing a ton of it too. And I'm glad that you said that you're seeing it as well, because I thought I was only seeing it because that's what I'm passionate about, is female, especially entrepreneurs that are starting businesses, that have small businesses. Like, I could talk to them all day long. I could support them all day long. I'm very, very passionate about it. So I thought this was only my world. But apparently it's not only my world.
Nope, I'm in it. It's everywhere. And I've had other conversations like this with other people. So I think a lot of people will resonate with this for sure. Or with the concept of maybe they're past that point. They already have that college degree, but they're kind of stuck maybe in a job they're not passionate about anymore. They're not, loving day to day. It's a broad topic. It's a broad place to be, a big umbrella to be under. But that's what I like to share with people, is the opportunity outside of it. And that you can make those changes. You don't have to be tied down to it. Or maybe you could repurpose your skills and degree into something different, and have a different path, different career.
It's so important, again, we've established I'm old, so I've lived a lot and I've experienced a lot, and I've seen a lot of people and talked with a lot of people. And it is so important. It is maybe, to me, in my perspective, the most important thing to love what you do. If you're going to get up every day and do what you deserve to give to yourself in terms of value, it's got to be something that you love. And it makes me really sad when I talk to people who are stuck in a job, or they feel stuck in a job because they went and got that college degree, and then, sorry, we're going to tangent real quick. But let's go back to the guidance counselor's office. I'm 17,
Mhm.
okay? Because I graduated when I was 17. I was a little bit
I
of a
did
younger.
too.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah.
So I was a little younger in my particular class, but I'm 17 years old. I don't even know who the heck I am, let alone what I'm
Mhm.
going to want to do for the next, I mean, how long do we work now? 4 decades or whatever it is? Like,
Right.
how much pressure is that to put on somebody to say, hey, go ring yourself up about 100, 200 grand, whatever it is in debt. So you can carry that around like luggage for the rest of your life. And you might not even use that.
Hmm. It's terrifying. And isn't it crazy too that we can at 17, the tender ages of barely being an adult, 18, even 19, and then we can go and get a loan for 6 figures, but you might not qualify for an apartment, or you're not even old enough to rent a car, but you
Or
have
you
this
don't even have a
massive debt attached
job.
to your name. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't even actually have that job yet. That's very terrifying. That's something I've always been passionate about. Again, love education so much. I knew since birth I wanted to be a teacher. It was in my DNA. I never ever considered any other career path. I was just, I want to be a teacher. But things happen and it shifts, and you roll with it. You just roll with what's happening, and it can be scary, but if you love it, it's not that scary. But then when you can't keep up with the cost of living, that's scary. And so now
Talk
you
to
have kinds of fees. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I feel like a lot of people are struggling with that right now. Um, Talk to me about when that changed for you. And it sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds to me that you still love teaching and you still are teaching, just kind of in a different way. So talk to me about when the that formal position where you were teaching, and going to school to do that every day. When did
Mhm.
that change for you? When did you have that light bulb moment where you were like, I think I want to do something different? Walk me down that road.
Yes. Yes. So you know how you were just talking about the college counselor moment, and you can probably makes it feel like it happened yesterday. You remember it so distinctly.
Yeah.
My defining moment to leave teaching is like that. I remember, I mean, it's like it was yesterday. It is so vivid. So one day I'm driving home from work. This was in my 6th year or 5th year of teaching. And driving home from work, and luckily my daughter went to school where I taught. So it was really nice that she could ride in with me and come home with me each day. Well, it was one of those days where I'd stayed late. I can't remember what we were doing, tutoring or an event or something. And so we're going home and it's almost dark. And the last thing I want to do after being at school since 6:45 or 7 a.m. is go home and prepare a meal and then do dishes. She was in first grade at the time. Homework for her,
Homework.
whatever, a little bit of playtime somewhere in there. And then the first thing I want to do is go to sleep when I get home, honestly. So just painting that picture. So we're driving home. It's that kind of day. It's already dark. And my daughter, she's so funny. Even to this day, she's like this. Her favorite thing ever is Subway. If I
Oh,
told her we can go anywhere in the world for dinner, money is not an issue, location is an issue. Where do you want to go? I swear she will pick Subway. She loves a Subway sandwich.
that is
So,
so cute.
to no surprise, she says, Mom, can we pick up Subway for dinner? And I'm like, I would want nothing more. I want a sandwich as well, and I do not want to cook. And in that moment, I pulled over for a moment and I was opening my account and checking my account on my phone real quick. And then that light bulb moment went off. I had this epiphany. I was like, I have 2 degrees. I am a young working professional. I work so hard. Um, I'll, I'll share. I was good at being a teacher too. 2018, I won Educator of the Year in the Phoenix Valley through Chamber
Wow.
of Commerce. So I was, and I say that very humbly, but I was very proud of what I did, and then a little recognition behind it. I was like, I'm doing it right. And I pulled over to check my account to see if I could afford to pick up, and back then they were $5 footlongs, to pick
Yes.
up a couple sandwiches. And I sat there and I just like paused for a moment. I was just staring at my steering wheel and I was like, I feel so defeated right now. And I almost feel like it was almost like in a sense of embarrassment, kind of. I was like, I just had to check if I could pick up Subway. She didn't ask for anything super fancy like a hibachi cook in front of you restaurant or some star meal. She asked for a Subway sandwich. And I was just like, I looked back at her again. She's like 6th, first grade. And looked at my phone and my account, was already low. And I'm trying to think again, nickel and diming everything. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go pick up dinner. Maybe it's $20 or less for us. But this bill's due. And my mind was just going. And in that moment, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And my first option wasn't, I have to leave teaching because I loved it. But I was like, I'm gonna have to either get a second job or I'm gonna have to have a little side hustle, a side hobby of some sort, or maybe bartend on the weekends. I don't know. I have to do something because I don't want to ever have to pull over again and check that I can pick up Subway, you
Yeah.
know? And that's me too, being responsible and living within my means. And it wasn't like I was picking, again, I use nails as my example, but getting my nails done over grabbing dinner for us or something. I was very
Right.
responsible with my money. But when you're making 32, 33, 34K a year, that's not a lot. And I don't think a lot of people realize. And after you have insurance come out and taxes and everything, you don't have a lot left over to play with. So that was my defining moment. I was like, I have to do something different. I have to make a change. I didn't want to set that example for her. Not that, I mean, she was pretty young, but not that she wanted or expected anything different from me at the time.
Hmm.
But I didn't want her to grow up and us be penny pinchers all the time and stressed. I wanted just to at least be kind of like just comfortable, I guess would be the word.
Hmm.
So she says, hey, can we grab Subway? I'm like, yeah, good call. Let's grab Subway tonight, and just go pick it up and not
Right.
have to check. So
Right.
that was my defining moment. And I struggled with it for so long because I was like, what am I going to do? This is my degree. My other degree was in English, but it was because I taught English at the schools. And so I was like, I don't know what to do with these two degrees I have. I can't afford to go back to college. I have a young daughter. I felt stuck and I started looking around for other options. But it's funny, but that Subway moment, my Subway story, as I call
Great
it,
story.
was my defining moment. It was so vivid for me in that site, and I had done that before too, and it had never been that heavy on my heart. Having moments like, man, I wish this could be different. But in teaching is there's not a lot of room for career advancement. You can teach different grade levels, or maybe you get a master's and you can make a little more or do administration, but there aren't a ton of tiers to advance. And then, teachers, let's say they're between 30 and 40. Now, I haven't taught in like 8 years now, so I don't know what the current salary cap is
Gotcha.
or whatever, but
Yeah.
just going back from when I was teaching between 2013, 2019, 30, 40K, administrations around 60 or so. And then if you're working in maybe in a curriculum development, maybe you can get up to the six figures sometimes, but that's with like years and years and years of experience. So there wasn't a lot of room. So that was where I felt stuck too. I was like, I can't really do anything else. You know, if you coach a sport, you can make a little extra,
I
but
was
then
going to
you're
say you could
there all the
coach.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then, I mean, you just got done explaining what what a regular day for you looks like. How could you fit coaching into that? You're a single mom. I know how much work it is, and I have a partner at home. I know how much work it is to have a kid in elementary school. You got to be on
Yeah.
top of so much stuff. We get emails day in and day out. And now this is just your child. This is just you as a parent. That doesn't count household that you're managing. That
Right.
doesn't count your own job that you're managing. Like, where would there have been even any time for you
Yeah.
to pick something else up?
I can even tell you there's not. I actually coached for 2 years because I wanted the extra income, but I'll be so black and white. And again, it could be way different now. And I've heard different schools across the nation pay different prices. So again, I just want to clarify, I'm speaking very much to my own story, but um, I coached volleyball for 2 years and I ran some clubs just to help out. And at my school, the stipend for coaching was $300. So you got 150 the first half of the year and 150 the second half of the year. After that's taxed, that's like nothing. That doesn't cover gas to the games that you drive. That doesn't cover grabbing Gatorade for the team. And we all know like no teachers pay a lot out of pocket for things like that. And so again, I knew these things, but again, once you're living in it, you're like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Going back to what you said, we're young, starting out our careers and kind of, entering the big world. And it's a shock. And like I said, I wasn't teaching for the fame or fortune, but I thought I would be able to at least sustain and get by. But then once I was in it, I was like, this sucks. This is
Yeah.
really hard. And honestly, I always thought eventually I would be a two paycheck family. I was like, eventually I'll meet somebody and that will be helpful if we have a combined income. And even if it's another teacher or something,
Yeah.
together we're making more. But that just hasn't been my path yet. And so it's been on my shoulders to do that and, serve both roles for my daughter.
Well, and that's not why you want to get a partner either, is to
Right.
have,
Oh, absolutely not.
that's probably not a good way to decide who you want to be with.
Exactly. Oh, no, I know. I just always thought eventually I would have that like life that all my friends had. They were all graduating college, starting their careers, got married, had a couple kids. Again, kind of a societal norm that is just a painted picture for us, but we don't have to go that path. But I was always thinking eventually I'll have a family, and that will be helpful. But that never happened. And so just more stressful whenever you're doing it all on your own. But even not financially though, but like someone there to help you with taking care of your kiddo if you are going to coach the school volleyball game that night, or help do household work, get
Or
dinner
if you're,
ready, maybe, or grab the groceries.
yeah, or if you're sick. Like,
Oh yeah.
it should not even be a thing for moms to get sick, but we do get sick.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so now you're sick, and if you're sick, your daughter's probably sick too. And now you're balancing all of this stuff when you're feeling under the weather. And there's just so many, I hear you. There are just so many ways that having another partner in life is helpful.
Yes.
And I wish and hope for you that the right one comes along and that situation comes along for you. I know you don't need it because you're an independent girl, but it is nice to have. So tell me so we had the aha moment with the subway thing, which is a great story. And then the wheels started turning from there. Like, oh, well, what could I do? Is that how it went? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was actually really struggling with what to do. Before I decided to leave teaching, I was looking at all the options for working a weekend job or just having a side hustle, like maybe doing a craft and selling it on Etsy. I was literally looking at everything possible. And around Mother's Day, my mom and we went in halves and we bought this little spa gift certificate to go get our eyebrows done together. Super random, but it was another one of those aha moments. So I'm laying in the chair and I'm getting to know the girl who's doing mine. And we started this honest conversation about, hey, so what do you do for a living? Who are you? And told her I was a teacher. And I just very casually mentioned, like, I teach right now, but I have just recently started exploring other options. It's a little tough on that salary. And she was like, oh, I feel you. I used to work a 9-to-5 job. I wasn't making much. I don't remember what her job was prior to what she was doing at that time. But she kind of shared the same thing. She kind of had the moment of like, I need to do something different. And she goes, and I found this career. She was like, you don't have to have a college degree. So no 4 years in school or whatever, not even 2. I did a certification program. I got my cosmetology license or esthetician license in the state of Arizona. And she's like, I make 6 figures doing eyebrows. And I remember laying there like, wow, that's a lot of money for doing eyebrows. What? Like, that's crazy. And I had a couple of friends too who bartended full time, and they made more than I did as a teacher. So I knew there were options out there. But again, it's terrifying to switch when you're like, this is my job. This is what I love. There are no other options, kind of how it feels. So
it's the unknown, and there's fear in the unknown.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of like that. I'm a creature of habit. I now embrace it a lot more than I used to, but back then I didn't love the unknown. I liked having my security. I was very organized, budgeted, etc. So yes, I kind of befriended her and we became friends on social media, and I asked her a few questions. I'm like, I wonder if this is something I could do on the weekends, or like, you make decent money. If I just had a little extra play money, it'd be great, or a little bit extra to have a savings account. And that's what I ended up doing. She told me all about where she went to school and how she did it. And I looked into it and I'm like, I think I could do this. Like, and I never in a million years thought I would ever be like in the aesthetics industry. That was not an interest of mine. I liked being the recipient of those services. I liked doing some of those girly things, but I was like, she's making good money. She converted a room in her home to a studio. And she told me how she did that and got it state board approved. And she was working from home so she could be home with her kids.
Nice.
And she's like, I set my own schedule. If I can't have if I want a day off, I just block the day off and don't take any appointments. And I'm like, wow, that would be a really nice life. I was already like enslaved to the 9-to-5, and I use enslaved lightly. I didn't feel, I loved my job, but I was stuck in that world. I couldn't set my own schedule by any means. And so me thinking like a teacher, I'm like, wow, that'd be cool to have a day off during the week to like go to a doctor's appointment or go get some stuff done that I need, clean my house, whatever. Everything fell into the weekend. And being a single parent made it feel like working on the weekends was not an option. And that was my one time to be with my daughter too. So I was like, If I have to do it, I will, but I don't want to. I don't want to give up that time with her and then I have to pay for childcare so I can go
Yeah.
work. It was just this never ending circle of like, I don't know what to do. I was just spinning my wheels. So she gave me all the info and the rest was history. At that point in 2019, I went to an accelerated program. They do them in between 4 and 6 months. And I went and got an esthetician's license and started doing eyelashes and brows. I really liked those two services and started doing those and very quickly grew my business. And I don't want to jump too far ahead with the rest of our conversation, but that's also where I started falling in love with social media because when I left teaching, I didn't have this huge savings to invest into like growing a new business. I literally had zero. So I got a credit card, put some of the school fees on it, some of my salon furniture I needed, and that's how I tried to start my business. But I didn't have like ad spend money, etc. And so I went in very blind. Also, never owning a business or anything, so went in completely blind, but the risk was worth the reward.
100%. And something I want to ask you is, how do I want to pose this? So oftentimes I see your success and I see you as a very successful person. And I feel like oftentimes people will see just that success and they don't necessarily see everything that came before it or that came behind it. So for instance, let's look at success as an ice cube, and you're in a room with this ice cube, right? And the temperature of the room is 0 degrees. And so the ice cube is really frozen. But the success is going to be as you start melting the ice cube, right? So you're heating up the room and it's taking a while to heat up the room. Maybe it happens 1 degree at a time, you know what I mean? But once it hits the melting point, all of a sudden it's starting to melt. I feel
Yeah.
like people see our melting points as though it kind of happened overnight where they didn't see us working to heat up the room. Can you explain your experience while you were heating up the room?
Yeah, I like that analogy a lot too. I've
Oh,
never
thank you.
heard it that way. That's really cool. So, gosh, I don't even know where to start with. It was 1 degree at a time, definitely 1 degree at a time. And honestly, I had to, it makes me, your example is so great. It makes me think of this quote my dad always said, which was, he was like, how do you eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time. You have
Right.
this massive thing in front of you. You have to do it one step at a time. And that's how I had to structure every single day with going into what I was doing, one day at a time, and learn those lessons as I went. So I started looking into, in general, like how to run a business and looking at the finance side, perfecting my craft and getting really good at it so that I could make this a business. If I wasn't good at what I was doing, nobody would come to me,
Right.
and I had to learn different strategies along the way. Um, but it was a lot of pressure. A lot of people just saw that I had changed careers and then I was working at a salon, and it probably looked like this swift, easy decision, but absolutely wasn't. And I had to rely on some friends and family, to help out. I was doing a ton of free services in the beginning. So I was posting all these pictures, working in the salon. I'm sure it looked all fun and glamorous, but I was like, I'm working for free right now because I want to build a portfolio.
Right.
I don't want to put out a false thing like I was having a great time with it. And in my head, I'm like, I'm killing it. I'm going to go in my own business. But I was also like, whoa, I'm not killing it. I need to get my ducks in a row. And then after that, it melted fast, I guess. It just kind of got into this routine,
Yep.
and I started realizing what I was doing, and my business started growing, and I started realizing what was working for it. And I just stayed that path. Like, it's not broken, don't fix it. And just started staying in my lane, I guess is the way to put it, and found success there.
Yeah. It's like you hit that melting point and then you continued to heat up the room 1 degree at a time, but you melted faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
see that as well. In my own business and within my own story, it definitely, it's definitely a thing. And thank you for sharing your particular experience with that, because I think that's where a lot of people get lost. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe they overcame the fear of jumping into the new thing. Maybe they did that right. But
Mm-hmm.
then the experience that you have before the melting begins, I mean, that's enough to crush anybody. And,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and so I feel like if we've inspired one person to stick it out and to continue
Mm-hmm.
to heat up the room 1 degree at a time, like we've done our job here, right? Because
Oh,
that
absolutely.
that's a thing. So we've got the fear, and then we've got the, oh my gosh, I'm in it. What did I do? Like, it's not going as well as I thought it would, but
Mm-hmm.
it has to go in steps. Like you said, like you can only do it one bite at a time. So you've got to like build upon what you
Yeah.
did yesterday and build upon what you did yesterday. And I feel like people can get lost in that.
Oh, absolutely. And I think so. I'll use the word jumping into it, and that made me think. So, a book that kind of helped me make this decision as well was it's a book by Steve Harvey, actually called Jump, and it's about taking those risks in life. And there's one example of him starting a business, and he was like, "I just had to jump, and it's scary." But he kind of compared it to that moment whenever you jump off the high dive or like a high cliff or something. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And as you're falling, it's scary, but you kind of finally make peace with, well, I've already jumped, so now I'm along for the ride, you know? And then once you hit the water and you're swimming, you're okay. But it's a little scary making the jump and that fall. But then you're like, okay, even if I'm treading water, I'm okay. No,
Right.
eventually. So another analogy again. But if anybody listening wanted a book to help with that decision or kind of, I don't know, it's just one I highly recommend. Steve Harvey, Jump. I think it's like a purple book. I love it. But I always recommend that to people. If people ask me my favorite book, that's one of them because it might not be my favorite book, but it was a life-changing book for me, you know. But I think what people have to remember is it won't happen overnight. There's a few of those unicorn stories where businesses take off overnight and have a high rate of success or, faster compared to somebody else. But something that has helped me is just setting goals that can be long term or short term, even if it's one day. But I was setting like minor goals for myself each time. I had a goal to start advertising on social media, and I started perfecting that. I had a goal to make X amount by a certain amount of time. I just wrote these things out. If you believe in writing it down, manifesting it, see it in front of you, those things help me. I'm a visual person, so I needed to see them and remember because we do get lost in the day-to-day chaos of normal life. So just having little success points, and if you keep tracking all those little wins, it's definitely going to help, especially like with your mental space, mental toughness. To remember the things you are accomplishing and give yourself credit for the decisions you've made so far. I had multiple times feeling like, was this the right thing? I'm probably going to go back to teaching next year. I can't do this. But I was just living in fear a little bit. But, you can't stay there. It'll eat at you. So remembering the little wins, setting some goals, and just one bite at a time. And you'll get
100%.
there.
Grant Cardone will tell you to write your goals out by hand in the morning before you start your day, and then in the evening after your day is over. And I will tell you from experience that just that habit is magical. Magical. Like things happen in my life and I'm like, oh, I just put that on my goal list. So yes,
Right?
you're right. Some things do just kind of happen very quickly and seemingly without effort. But I don't think that that's the experience we have with absolutely everything when we're looking to do what you've done.
Totally. And they're good too, because then whenever you don't accomplish a goal, you just have to adapt and reposition. And that was a big learning opportunity for me as well. At first, I was discouraged and thought, I can't do this. But then I was like, oh, actually, if I just do this instead, I think I can achieve that. And so just learning to feel more in control of those goals too, and actually coming up with a plan attached to it, and not it just being this kind of surface level, non tangible item, but putting some action around the goal, super helpful. And that's what helped me personally.
I totally agree. And in some cases, depending on, of course, budget and where you're at in your business and stuff, but I typically recommend speaking with a business coach, or like you said, reading a bunch of books or doing something that helps expand your mindset and teaches you new things, ways to cope with what you're doing. Because jumping into business for yourself, like you had mentioned, is a scary thing. It's a very valuable thing. It's a very awesome thing, but it is also a very scary thing. There's a lot of unknowns. So the more that you can kind of arm yourself with support and learn from people who have come before you that have done what you're looking to do, like that's giant, right? Then I feel like it makes that transition and that experience more enjoyable and easier.
Absolutely. You just hit on so many things too. I might go off on a tangent a little bit here.
Do it.
Or the going back to, like you said, might not have a large budget when they start their business and stuff. I love to share with this audience listening that I literally had zero. I said that earlier, but I mean, I literally had like no money to put into it. So I want to share with people too that eventually you might get to where you have some money to invest in your business and do things, a business coach or maybe like a social media manager or ads, whatever your business may need, additional equipment, etc. But you can start with nothing. And I'm just a person who did that. I had nothing going into it, but there's opportunities for it. Even if it's like taking out a loan if you needed to. I don't want it to be like every business you can start with zero, but there are opportunities where you can do that. And if you happen to be a person where you feel like you're in that position where I want to be financially free, but I don't have the money to go start a business, or I don't have enough of a savings to leave my job right now. Everybody's situation will be different, but there are opportunities where you can't do it, you know. What was the other thing you said? You just said something that was so important to me.
So either consulting with a business coach or reading books or consulting with others in your industry that have come before you.
Yes, thank you. It was about being self-taught. So after aesthetics, I decided to go into social media, and I can talk about that segue in a second, but I was completely self-taught when it came to that. I don't have a marketing degree or a business degree or anything in that realm. I was completely self-taught. And some people joke like I didn't go to YouTube University. I didn't learn everything on YouTube. I took some free courses. So there are options out there that you can do, like Google certifications. They have a ton of free ones. And they even tell you at the end of it if they're hiring on any of those roles. So you can literally get certified and get educated on some of these, and they can help place you. Of course, they're going to tell you about Google availability jobs first. Maybe you can come work for them since you took their certification course. But if not, they still give you other options or what you can do with that certification, what jobs are hiring with that expertise or that skill set. So I started doing that. Another platform is HubSpot. They have free and paid for certifications, and it's called HubSpot Academy. Really popular one as well. I did a couple on there, and they were free. They're self-paced. So maybe you're a busy working mom and you take, one course and you do an hour at night, or you do a couple hours on the weekend. And it might feel like a long time, but it'll be worth it when you get it,
Yeah.
or if you're able to, you could go through it really quickly if that's the other option. A lot of times people need time to take them because they're busy. But that's what I did. And I became self-taught. I started, again, like you were talking about, people out there have already done it. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
There's so many social media and marketing experts out there. I started watching their YouTube videos, watching their TikTok videos, following them on social media and hearing what they had to say, this information they gave away so freely, or they do a free webinar. Again, just so many resources out there to dodge maybe the college route or dodge having to go back to school or a long program or anything. And so I was self-taught in that field, and I wasn't self-taught with aesthetics. Obviously, it does require the license, but a lot of what I did end up learning with that too was outside of my program, watching videos and stuff, learning from other technicians and everything.
Yep.
And even just learning what products they use. Like, there's just so much out there now on the internet these days that's so helpful, and you can do it. It's possible. It's scary, but it's possible. And that's where I saved a lot too. I wish sometimes I would look back and be like, man, I wish I could have gone to school for marketing. That would have been so helpful. But then half the time when I sit down and do consulting with a business or talk to a client and I share with them what I know right now and help them with their business, they'll tell me like, wow, I have a business degree and I didn't know that. They never taught us that. Or I have a marketing degree and I'm looking for someone to help me with this, but I've never learned this. But it's always changing. There's so much information out there, and you never know how helpful your skill will be for yourself or for somebody else.
I 100% agree. Definitely lean on those things. I think it's so valuable. So you shared so many amazing points, and I know that a lot of this is going to be very, very helpful to our audience out there. So I thank you very much with that. Just to clarify, because we went through teaching to the esthetician, now we're in social media. So just to clarify, can you just tell our audience what exactly it is that you do now? Feel free to talk about your website or whatever it is, however somebody could get in touch with you if they wanted to.
Oh, sure. Yes. So I own Spotlight Social Media. It's a social media agency where we do primarily social media management for small businesses. A lot of my clientele are small businesses. We have some larger ones because at the end of the day, social media everybody's on it, at least one platform. And in order for your business to be successful and to be seen in front of the audience that you want, being on social media is key. And it can be very helpful, right? It can be very helpful to a business owner to have somebody manage it for you, if you're able to, because you can take that off your plate and focus on what you need to do and let somebody be posting for you, engaging with your audience, etc. And so that's what I do. That's what Spotlight Social Media does. Get your business in the spotlight, get you in front of the people who you want to be seen by. We all know a lot of these platforms are very global, so it's not super helpful if it goes out across the world, but learning the content strategy to get you in front of who you want to be seen by, and then keeping a consistent, reliable presence online. So sometimes people ask me what I do for work. I don't say like I own a business or I own this. I just say I'm a social media manager, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what I do. I have a handful of clients I manage my own, and I just manage their platforms for them. And I absolutely love it. It has allowed me to grow to a 6-figure income now. Just to put that into perspective a little bit, I have 4 clients, and I do better than what I was doing with teaching. And again, that's so wonderful, like knowing where I came from and then to where I am now. My path to get here was, again, one of those indirect ones. So left teaching and chose the route of aesthetics because it was a quick 4-month program. I could do it, etc. But when I started doing it, I went back to the moment of, okay, I can't really advertise. I don't have enough money. Like I bought some business cards and that was really it. But I wouldn't really classify that too much as advertising, but I couldn't run like Facebook ads and stuff. So I was like, I need to learn how to use social media. And my audience is going to be on social media. The girls are going to get their eyelashes done. They're going to take pictures and tag me. And like, that's where I need to be. And so I started a social media page and I started advertising my work on there. And it was a little slow to start, had to gain a little momentum, but finally it started to be seen. I had a few videos that did really well and it built an audience. And I had this moment again. I was like, wow, I really like this social media stuff. This is a very powerful tool. Once you kind of know how to finagle it a little bit and use it to your advantage, I'm like, this is beautiful. I'm paid 0 on ad spend the entire time on either of my businesses. I've never paid to run an ad, all using social media. And so I was like, maybe I could start helping others. I had a couple of friends who were estheticians. They would ask me those questions. How are you growing your page so fast? Or what tools do you use or apps do you use to like edit photos? Or how do you make your videos? And I was like, maybe I can start helping people a little on the side. Or maybe this could be a business. And before I knew it, I was like, I kind of like the content creation side of it. And so I slowly went into that field. I had a lash company reach out and ask me if I would be their content creator. They're like, keep making your videos, but we'll send you our products and we'll pay you to make videos for us with our products. And so I tried them out. I love their stuff. And so I became a content creator for them. And for a year, I was making TikTok videos for them, just my hands time-lapsing my work or something like that and explaining the product I'm using. And I was like, wow, this is really powerful. Helped a few people out on the side for free with their social media pages. And I was like, hey, I've been doing some research. I took this course. If you do ABC, this will really help. And I was watching people have success. And then one day I was like, maybe I need to do this full time. I really love it. And I was becoming passionate about it. And like you mentioned earlier, I felt like I was teaching. It was an outlet for me to feel like I was educating. I started making tutorial videos on TikTok and Instagram and all of that. And it just, again, it was I never ever thought I would be doing this. And it's kind of funny. I think my passion for social media or interest in it was more deeply rooted than I realized, because when I taught, I had a classroom Instagram and it was faceless. Like I didn't show the kids or anything, but I would post pictures of like the projects we were doing, or if there was a face, it was mine and the teacher or something, or at the back of a student's head. But I loved the families could follow it and see like the cool stuff we were doing in the classroom.
Cute.
And so I was like, maybe there was like a little spark there one day, but I just didn't realize it at the time, And
yeah,
now Instagram primarily and TikTok and stuff runs my life. So in a good way, the beautiful side of social media.
Yeah, no kidding. I love it. I love your story. I love how inspirational you are. I love your strength. Thank you for sharing just a little bit of that with us. And I know I don't know who your clients are. You could feel free to share that if you'd like. But I know that they appreciate you and I know that you bring them so much value. I can tell just by this almost hour in talking with you that is the case. And I know that there are other people out there that are like you that can do the same thing, maybe not necessarily in the same field or, performing the same tasks, but the same thing in general. And I hope that this podcast episode has inspired them to do so. So thank you for your part in that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. We get lost in the chaos of life sometimes, and it's kind of a good reminder to hear something inspirational. And I appreciate that. I want to be that person for others as well. And yeah, I'll quickly give a couple of examples of who I work with and kind of what I do, because on my social media, I've also started posting videos about how I got here. So if there's a mom at home that's hearing this, that's like, I would love to do that because I work from home. I work 99% of the time from my phone, and the content is sent to me and I edit it and distribute it. And it's something you could do very freely from anywhere. You could be traveling and have your job going, And so if there's any moms that ever want to help with that, on my social media pages, I have been sharing videos on how I do that. Again, another outlet to kind of feel educational, like I'm teaching and stuff. But so mainly on Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, my clients right now that I work with, so I have a couple of solar companies that I actually work with, which is really cool. I worked with a dog trainer for a while, since we talked about our shared love of animals.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite ones to work with. He and I don't work together anymore. I just did like a 90-day launch with him, but that was super fun. And we ended up trading services. He traded my golden doodle, or trained my golden doodle puppy for me, which was cool. I work with, there's a company called Desert Steam Detail. It's a local auto detail shop, mobile detailer. And that one's a lot of fun. Work with a local painting company. So all kinds of niches. It keeps me on my toes. I'm not an expert in painting or auto detailing or solar or any of these things, but I love having a variety of clients because they all want to be on social media. I'm doing something similar for all of them. And it's really fun to learn about these new industries that I've never been a part of, meeting all these people and everything. And everybody out there needs help in this realm. So it's a really great option for a parent to have one client a month, they have a little side income and manage their pages, or do it full time and do it for 5 or 10 companies,
Mm-hmm.
So it's an awesome opportunity. So that's my little piece on that.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. And they said social media wasn't going to go anywhere back in the day. Do you remember that?
I do, or it was just going to be a silly dancing, whatever. Yeah.
Fun
and now
fact.
it's everybody's there.
Fast forward a decade or so, right? And here we are. Well, awesome, Heather. Did you share how people can get in touch with you? I don't remember. If you didn't, do it again.
Oh, I might not have. Sorry. So again, mine's unique. I don't have a website, which I know feels really weird because of the industry I work in, but I use social media for my business completely. So no website, but I do have an Instagram page. It's my first and last name. I'll put my handle on as my name on here too, so anybody can grab it.
Yeah, I'll post it in the show notes for you.
It's my first and last. Okay. Yep. So it's Heather Lackey Official is my Instagram. Anybody can add me there, and feel free to reach out and message me with any questions. I love to hear from people. I love to help people out. TikTok, same name. But I have everybody talk to me through social media. And then once we talk on there, I'll typically give them my email or my phone number or something, and we'll move the conversation there. But no website. A lot of people kind of drop their jaw when I tell them that. They're like, you don't have a website and you work in like media and marketing? But I'm like, I do this on purpose, though. I want people to know my story. Exactly. I haven't paid for a website. I don't pay for ads. I do it all through social media, and that's my personal success story.
Makes a lot of sense to me. All right, friend. Well, we hope to have you back again someday, because I feel like when we were talking, there were like so many shows we could have done, so many angles that we could have gone in. So please, we invite you to come back. We hope to see you soon. If you guys want to check out any of our previous episodes or watch the replay on this one, hop over to our YouTube channel. It is at MOMnation USA. That is our handle. Or if you prefer the podcast style, maybe you run a lot, hike a lot, maybe you're in the car a lot, right? Like driving around this city, then hop on over to your favorite podcast platform, do a quick search for MOMnation Talk Radio, and there you can connect with us. We hope to see you there. Thank you again, Heather. We'll see you around.
Thank you so much.
Bye.